Hey everyone, welcome back to Shade Review. In today's video, we are reviewing the new Dita Kudru sunglasses, and we're gonna be talking about if it's worth the $1,200 price tag or not. But first off, in today's video sponsor, our own website, shadereviewstore.com. The app's the best place to buy designer sunglasses, up to 80% off the original MSRP. Again, our website there is shadereviewstore.com. Check it out. So let's go ahead and pop the sunglasses on face and talk about the dimensions. These have 61mm lenses and a 14mm bridge, and these are the standard and only lens size that these frames are produced in, and they're supposed to offer a bold and oversized styling to them, as most Dita frames do. Personally, I would love if these frames were like 57mm or 58mm. That would be a really killer look and would fit my face really perfectly without offering a very bold and oversized styling to them. But again, that's kind of Dita's design language. They want bold kind of statement fashion pieces of eyewear when it comes to a lot of their frames. And for me, I love these. I just wish these were a little bit smaller because I don't always love that bold and oversized style. Now, as far as the exact colorway that I have on today's video, these have Dita's black iron titanium colorway and then black palladium accents here. So anytime that you see that kind of a really shiny kind of gunmetal color, that's actually going to be the black palladium. And I really do love the contrast. We can see a little bit of that black palladium right here, and then the top bar here, again, we can see that black palladium, which really pops when wearing these out in the sunlight and really adds a great contrast between the black iron titanium and then that palladium titanium finish on there. Now, as far as the materials go, these frames are made out of both titanium and acetate. So the entire front of the frame is made out of a titanium material. And then here on the temples, we can see an acetate material that does have a metal stem that runs through it there. And as far as the look on face goes, I really do like the look of these frames. Even though they do have that oversized styling, they look absolutely killer in my opinion. I love the actual kind of triple bridge here. So at first glance, you're gonna see just a double bridge, but if you look closely, you can actually see that there are in fact a double stack bridge here up at the top, which looks really great. And I also do like the holes here in the kind of beginning of the temple hinge here. It looks really cool and adds a really cool look to the frames in my opinion. And they can only really kind of pull that off because these are made out of titanium. So the metal here is so strong, they're not going to bend or really give or anything whatsoever. They're just very strong, and that allows them to have that really cool look here. Now, if we take a look in the top left corner of the lens, we can see it does say Dita Kudru there for authentication purposes, and that's going to be etched on the lens there. And then they also do have fully adjustable titanium metal nose rests, which are very comfortable. They're just on this kind of titanium wire here, which is going to bend out but be very stiff at the same time. So the frames on the face almost feel like they are floating with a little bit of bounce there, a little bit of give there, and it's just really nice and feels perfect when wearing them on the face. Now, as far as the weight goes, these frames are going to be pretty lightweight, coming in at 37 grams. So considering how big these frames are and the fact that they are made out of this really thick metal material and then these kind of thick acetate temples as well, 37 grams there is going to be pretty lightweight considering these, the boldness of this pair of frames. So I personally can wear these frames all day long without any discomfort, and they do have a really good balance to them. They're actually a little bit balanced to be heavier here at the back than they are here at the front. Personally, I much prefer my frames to be heavier at the ears than on the nose, but that's just me. But yeah, definitely a decent balance to them right out of the box there. Now, something that's really interesting about these frames is their exposed hardware here up at the top. You can see there are 3 screws, and those aren't just there for show. They actually connect the adjustable acetate temple tip to the frame here, to the metal titanium bit here. And so you can actually adjust these acetate temples inward or outward, if that makes sense. So you can actually move them up or down depending on how big your face is. So this pair is very versatile for people who have a kind of short distance here or a really long distance here. We have about, I think about 7mm of play here to make them longer or shorter, which is really interesting. Now you're gonna have to take this to an optician to do this because you're gonna need a very special bit that's going to be able to actually unscrew those. And I think you might need to actually drill another hole through the acetate and through the metal core. I'm not sure. I actually don't have that tip, and I really don't wanna mess with it either. So I have not actually adjusted these myself. Right out of the box, they fit my face really, really good. But definitely a really, really interesting and pretty innovative design there with that being adjustable. Now again, right out of the box, these do fit my face really good. I probably could make them a little bit shorter because they are kind of sticking out a little bit long there. But either way, it's not a big deal. And I'm not gonna go ahead and mess with that or take it to Dita, a repair person. Just because I really don't care that much. Now, if we take a look here at the inner right temple of the frame, we can see the model name, and then it says made in Japan. And then if we take a look here at the inner left temple of the frame, we can see the exact core code information. It does say Dita right there. Moving out to the outside left ear rest of the frame, we can see it does have a little Dita shield logo there for authentication purposes. And we can also notice here that the outside temples are made out of a matte black material. And then here on the inside, they're actually glossy. So that adds a really cool kind of transition between the frames. The glossy feels really good on the face. And then you have a nice matte finish there as well. So really cool contrast, and definitely not the easiest thing to do when they're being produced. Definitely takes a little bit of extra effort to make one side glossy and then one side matte. Now, as far as the pricing goes, these frames are going to run you $1,200, which is definitely very expensive. And I don't quite see how these frames are over $400 more expensive than the Dita subsystem, which I also really, really do love as well. I understand these do have metal temples and a really cool and innovative design here, but an extra $400 over the subsystem, I don't quite get that pricing. I feel like they're pricing a lot of it extra just because they're really interesting style, and I don't think it costs $400 more to produce, if that makes sense. As far as coverage from sun goes, these frames do have very flat lenses, so they're not going to offer the best coverage from the sun. So they do have a 4 base curve to them. So here up top, I can see a pretty big gap to let sunlight in unprotected. Then here on the side, again, there is a massive gap that does let sunlight in unprotected. So overall, not the most practical pair of frames from Dita, but they do have this very nice and premium anti-reflective material here on the back side of the lens, which is going to help reduce sunlight coming in, bouncing off the lens at an angle. And typically Dita frames don't have the best coverage from sun, so they're typically not that practical, so that's not too surprising here. Overall, I think it's a really fantastic pair of frames from Dita. The build quality here is really just second to none. Very, very high quality stuff. We can see some linear etching here on the frames and then here on the temples as well, which is absolutely perfect. And they did a perfect job of matching up the frame front and the temple titanium. And Dita does an absolutely incredible job matching up the front of the frame to the titanium temple hinge here with those linear lines to get them to line up basically perfectly. And that is definitely not easy to do. That's really, really hard and takes a lot of precision to do to make that look good, and definitely really, really hard stuff to do. So a hard pair of frames to manufacture, very thick titanium as well with that beautiful etching, and just a really, really beautiful pair of frames in my opinion. Now, are they worth $1,200? I don't know. If you have the money, maybe. I really would love if these frames were coming in at around like a $900 price point, or maybe even $1,000 price point. That extra 20% to make it $1,200 just seems a little bit extreme. But definitely a very high quality pair of eyewear, and we do have these available on our website for a pretty decent discount off the original MSRP. So if you're looking for these frames, make sure to check out shadereviewstore.com to buy your own pair of these sunglasses. But that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a big thumbs up down below, and of course make sure to hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be notified every single time I upload a brand new video just like this one to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.